Here are 101 facts about Kawasaki, and let's be honest, if engineering had a rock star, this would be the band. From ships to superbikes. Number 1. The Ninja H2, launched in 2015, features a supercharged engine and over 200 horsepower. What makes this remarkable isn't just the power, it's that Kawasaki developed the supercharger entirely in-house rather than using an off-the-shelf automotive component, creating the first factory supercharged production motorcycle. Number 2. The track-only Ninja H2R is a 300-plus horsepower monster, making it the most powerful production motorcycle ever built. Its supercharged engine produces so much heat that special gold heat-reflective material, the same used in Formula 1 cars, lines the engine bay to prevent plastic components from melting. Number 3. The Ninja H2R can reach speeds over 240 miles per hour, demonstrated when Turkish rider Kenan Sofoglu achieved 249.5 miles per hour on Turkey's Osman Gazi Bridge in 2016. This speed is fast enough to outrun many small aircraft. Number 4. During World War II, Kawasaki was one of Japan's primary military aircraft manufacturers, producing the Kai-61 high-end Flying Swallow, one of the few Japanese fighters capable of competing with American P-51 Mustangs. This aerospace engineering expertise would later prove critical to motorcycle development. Number 5. Here's something most Kawasaki owners don't realize. Your motorcycle's DNA comes straight from fighter planes. Kawasaki's first motorcycle engine wasn't designed by motorcycle experts. It was created by aircraft engineers who applied aerodynamic principles to engine cooling, an influence still visible in today's models. Number 6. Kawasaki's first motorcycle engine was a 148cc failure that almost killed their two-wheeled ambitions. The original KE-1 prototype in 1949 suffered from overheating, vibration, and reliability problems so severe that its release was delayed for 3 years, while engineers completely redesigned it. Number 7. After that rough start, Kawasaki finally got it right. Their Meihatsu 125 Deluxe set a top speed record for its class in 1956 and then proceeded to run 50,000 kilometers, enough to circle Earth 1.25 times without breaking down. Number 8. In 1962, Kawasaki pulled off one of the motorcycle industry's sneakiest business moves. They merged with Meguro Manufacturing, but internal documents revealed Kawasaki specifically targeted Meguro for its established dealer network and traditional motorcycle expertise that Kawasaki's aircraft engineers desperately lacked. Number 9. The first official Kawasaki logo appeared on a motorcycle in 1957, replacing the Meihatsu brand name used on earlier models. This branding change marked a major strategic shift. Kawasaki was now ready to put their reputation directly on the line in the competitive motorcycle market. Number 10. Kawasaki's first dedicated motorcycle factory opened in 1960, nearly a decade after their first engine design. Unlike competitors who began as motorcycle specialists, Kawasaki approached production with heavy industrial manufacturing standards, including quality control processes adapted from aircraft production. We've already covered how Kawasaki went from building ships to dominating the racetrack. If that doesn't earn a subscribe, what does? Click that button and join us for the rest of this epic journey. The models that changed motorcycling. Number 11. In 1967, Kawasaki revolutionized the motorcycle world with the A1 Samurai. This wasn't just another 250cc street bike. It was the first to pack an air-cooled two-stroke parallel twin engine that outperformed bikes with twice the engine size. Number 12. 2 years later, Kawasaki unleashed the H1 Mach 3, a 500cc triple that produced 60 horsepower when most motorcycles made half that. This beast could hit 60 miles per hour in 4 seconds flat in 1969. That's quicker than a Porsche 911 from the same year. Number 13. The H1 earned the terrifying nickname the Widowmaker, and for good reason. Its violent power delivery created dangerous handling quirks. The frame flexed under acceleration, the front wheel lifted unexpectedly, and the handlebars and rear wheel seemed to operate independently at high speeds. Number 14. Kawasaki's answer to harnessing their raw power came in 1972 with the Z1, the world's first production motorcycle with an air-cooled double overhead camshaft inline-4 engine. engine. This revolutionary powertrain created a technical template that would define Japanese superbikes for decades. Number 15. Inside Kawasaki, the Z1 was developed under the codename New York Steak during its 5-year development, a deliberate reference to its premium status and a not-so-subtle dig at Honda's CB750, which engineers dismissively referred to as hamburger. Even then, Japanese motorcycle rivalry inspired food-based trash talk. Number 16. The Z1's development was surrounded by intense secrecy. Engineers removed company badges before visiting suppliers and used unmarked vehicles when transporting prototypes. When Honda surprised the industry with the CB750 in 1969, Kawasaki scrapped their nearly completed design to create something superior. Number 17. The Z1 wasn't just a technical marvel, it dominated on the track too. It became the first Japanese bike to win the American Motorcyclist Association Superbike Championship, breaking the dominance of British and American manufacturers and signaling the shifting power dynamics in global motorcycle racing. Number 18. The Z1's revolutionary engine wasn't just powerful, it was reliable. While British and American competitors typically needed rebuilds after 15,000 miles, the Z1 could run 50,000 miles without major service, changing consumer expectations about what a high-performance motorcycle should deliver. Number 19. Kawasaki's legendary Z1 inspired such a devoted following that over 50 owner clubs exist worldwide dedicated solely to this model. In Japan, the annual Z1 Day celebration attracts thousands of owners who travel hundreds of miles to showcase perfectly preserved or meticulously restored examples. Number 20. After revolutionizing street bikes, Kawasaki set their sights on racing dominance. In 1978, they began an unprecedented 4-year winning streak, taking the FIM World Road Racing Championship manufacturer's title every year until 1981, establishing the brand as a force in international competition. Number 21. In 1984, Kawasaki released the groundbreaking GPZ 900R, known as the Ninja in the United States. It was the first liquid-cooled DOHC 16-valve 4-cylinder motorcycle combining race technology with street practicality in a way that immediately redefined what consumers expected from a sport bike. Number 22. The GPZ 900R wasn't just a hit with motorcycle enthusiasts, it became a pop culture icon when it starred as Tom Cruise's ride in the 1986 blockbuster Top Gun. This product placement was pure happenstance. The film's transportation coordinator simply chose the fastest production motorcycle available at the time. Number 23. Kawasaki created the term Ninja specifically for the American market. In Japan and Europe, these same bikes were sold under the GPZ designation. American marketers believed Japanese motorcycle names were too technical for US consumers and wanted something more aggressive and memorable. Number 24. The 1990 ZR 1100 was the world's fastest production motorcycle for 6 years, with a top speed exceeding 170 miles per hour. Its dominance lasted until Honda deliberately built the CBR 1100XX Blackbird specifically to claim the speed crown. Number 25. Kawasaki introduced the Ram Air system on the ZX11, an engineering breakthrough that forced extra air into the engine as speed increased. This technology, adapted directly from jet fighter air intakes, allowed the motorcycle to gain approximately 15 extra horsepower at high speeds. Number 26. In response to Honda's Blackbird taking the speed crown, Kawasaki engineers took it personally. Their answer came in 1997 with the ZX12R, which reclaimed the title of world's fastest production motorcycle with a top speed limited only by a gentleman's agreement among manufacturers to cap speeds at 186 miles per hour. Number 27. The 2000 ZX12R featured the first mass-produced aluminum monocoque frame on a motorcycle. This aircraft-inspired technology used the frame as a stressed member that wrapped around the engine rather than holding it from below, creating unprecedented rigidity with less weight. Number 28. Kawasaki's obsession with aerodynamics reached new heights on the ZX12R, which underwent more wind tunnel testing than any previous motorcycle. Engineers discovered that tiny winglets on the fairing could reduce drag by 3%, a seemingly small improvement that added 5 miles per hour to the top speed. Number 29. The 2006 ZZR 1400 could reach 60 miles per hour in just 2.5 seconds, quicker than most supercars, costing 20 times as much. This acceleration was so extreme that Kawasaki engineers had to develop special front fork damping to prevent wheelies during instrumented testing. Number 30. Eddie Lawson's Kawasaki racing dominance was so complete that competitors accused him of cheating. When officials performed a post-race teardown of his KZ-1000 after his 1981 championship, they discovered it was actually less modified than the rules allowed. He was simply extracting more performance through superior riding technique. Creating revolutionary street bikes was impressive enough, but Kawasaki wasn't content with dominating stoplight drag races. Racing green. Number 31. Kawasaki's distinctive lime green racing color wasn't chosen for marketing reasons. It was first used in 1969 simply to stand out on the track when racing was primarily sponsored by cigarette brands using red and white colors. The distinctive hue made Kawasaki bikes instantly identifiable even at racing speeds. Number 32. The nickname Team Green originated with American motocross racers in the 1970s before being officially adopted by Kawasaki. Competitors would refer to the collective Kawasaki-sponsored riders as those green bike guys, until Kawasaki marketing saw the opportunity to formalize the catchy team identity. Number 33. Kawasaki's first major international racing victory came at the Daytona 200 in 1973 when Yvon Duhamel rode a 750 CCH2 to victory. What makes this win remarkable is that the bike was using a modified 3-cylinder 2-stroke engine originally designed for snowmobiles, showcasing Kawasaki's cross-division engineering approach. Number 34. In 1982, Kawasaki shocked the racing world by winning the 8 hours of Suzuka endurance race on their very first attempt. This prestigious event had been dominated by Honda and Yamaha for years, and Kawasaki's unexpected victory with riders Greg Hansford and Wayne Gardner immediately established their endurance racing credentials. Number 35. Kawasaki's KX500 2-stroke motocross bike, produced from 1983 to 2004, is legendary for its raw power. Pro riders nicknamed it the arm stretcher because its explosive acceleration would literally pull riders' arms to full extension. Many professionals admitted they couldn't fully utilize its power. Number 36. While dominating World Superbike racing, Kawasaki abandoned MotoGP competition in 2008 after a humbling 26-year winless drought in motorcycling's premier class. Despite pouring millions into development, their last MotoGP victory came in 1982 with Eddie Lawson, highlighting how even engineering powerhouses can struggle. Number 37. Jonathan Rea transformed Kawasaki's racing reputation with an unprecedented 6 consecutive World Superbike Championships on the Ninja ZX-10R, breaking multiple records including most race wins, most points in a season, and most consecutive titles. Achievements that helped shift Kawasaki's image from engineering excellence to racing dominance. Number 38. Unlike most manufacturers who employ career test riders, Kawasaki maintains a unique tradition where their lead test riders are required to be active professional racers. This from track to street philosophy reached its peak when multiple World Superbike champion Jonathan Rea became directly involved in developing the street-legal Ninja ZX-10R. Number 39. The World Superbike winning ZX-10R shares 90% of its components with the street version. When Tom Sykes won the 2013 World Superbike Championship, Kawasaki released a special edition road bike that was virtually identical to his race machine, with only minimal changes to meet street regulations. Number 40. Kawasaki's Team Green racing program supports amateur and professional racers worldwide. Unlike other factory racing programs that focus only on elite riders, Team Green operates at grassroots levels with over 500 supported riders in the US alone, from 7-year-old beginners to professional champions. These racing triumphs weren't achieved through luck or shortcuts. They were built on groundbreaking engineering innovations that redefined motorcycle technology. Kawasaki's technical breakthroughs. Number 41. Kawasaki's Unitrack rear suspension system, first seen in the early 1980s, revolutionized motorcycle handling. This progressive linkage system provided increasing resistance as the suspension compressed, solving the compromise between comfort and performance that had plagued motorcycle designs for decades. Number 42. The 1984 GPZ 750 Turbo was Kawasaki's entry into the short-lived turbocharged motorcycle wars. Unlike competitors who simply bolted turbos to existing engines, engines, Kawasaki completely redesigned their engine with oil jets cooling the pistons and a special ceramic coating on the exhaust ports to handle the extreme heat. Number 43. Kawasaki's ram air technology was adapted directly from fighter jet air intakes. On the 1990s ZX-11, engineers discovered that placing the air intake at the front of the fairing created a pressurizing effect at speed, forcing approximately 15% more air into the engine at 150 miles per hour. Number 44. Kawasaki pioneered advanced engine management with the 1982 G-Paz 1100, featuring the industry's first digital fuel injection on a mass-produced motorcycle. This revolutionary system used a 16-bit computer to analyze engine parameters 30 times per second, incredibly advanced technology for the early 1980s. Number 45. The ZX-12R's monocoque frame design was inspired by aircraft construction techniques. Instead of traditional frame rails, it used the structural skin of the chassis to bear loads, creating a chassis both lighter and 50% more rigid than conventional designs, with the added benefit of freeing up space for a larger airbox. Number 46. Kawasaki's engineering philosophy emphasizes what they call mass centralization, concentrating the heaviest components as close as possible to the center of gravity. On the Ninja H2, this approach resulted in placing the supercharger directly behind the cylinders rather than beside the engine, improving handling despite the added complexity. Number 47. The Ninja H2's supercharger wasn't just borrowed from cars. It was a completely clean sheet design created specifically for motorcycle application by Kawasaki's aerospace division. This required solving unprecedented engineering challenges, including creating the smallest efficient supercharger in production vehicle history and developing special heat-resistant alloys. Number 48. Kawasaki's KTRC traction control system on the ZX-10R uses a combination of wheel speed sensors and proprietary algorithms to detect rear wheel slip 40 times per second. Unlike early systems that simply cut power, Kawasaki's system modulates throttle position and ignition timing to maintain maximum acceleration while preventing crashes. Number 49. The 1981 ZGP Z1100 was the first Japanese motorcycle to feature anti-dive front forks, a hydraulic system that prevented the front end from compressing excessively during braking. This technology, borrowed directly from Kawasaki's work on military helicopter landing gear, dramatically improved stability during emergency stops. Number 50. Kawasaki's Tsugumi design philosophy emphasizes aggressive, predatory styling inspired by Japanese folklore creatures. Designers specifically study animal predators in hunting poses to create motorcycles with a crouching, forward-looking stance. The Z1000's distinctive appearance was directly inspired by a pouncing leopard. This obsession with engineering excellence wasn't limited to creating face-melting superbikes and racing champions. Something for everyone. Number 51. In 1987, Kawasaki released what looked like a fairly ordinary dirt bike with headlights. The KLR 650. Nothing special, right? Wrong. That humble bike would go on to become one of the longest-running models in motorcycle history, remaining basically unchanged for 21 years because it was already perfect. Number 52. The KLR 650's legendary reliability has made it the chosen mount for some truly insane adventures. Greg Frazier rode 100,000 miles across 5 continents without needing an engine rebuild. These bikes have crossed the Sahara, climbed the Himalayas, and traversed Siberia. Number 53. Your trail bike has a secret military life. The US Marine Corps purchases stock KLR 650s, modifies them slightly, and deploys them in combat zones as the M1030M1. While multi-million-dollar military vehicles broke down in Afghan mountains, these Kawasaki dirt bikes kept running. Number 54. The Versus series blends adventure, sport, and touring capabilities in one package, demonstrating Kawasaki's philosophy that versatility is the ultimate form of performance for real-world riders. The name itself is a contraction of versatile system, reflecting the Swiss Army knife approach to its design. Number 55. The Z900 RS, released in 2018, is a retro-styled modern bike inspired by the original Z1. While it looks vintage, it contains modern technology including traction control, anti-lock brakes, and a 6-axis inertial measurement unit that detects lean angle to optimize performance and safety. Look, you've been with us through Kawasaki's wildest innovations and epic racing victories. If you're still watching, it's time to make it official. Smash that subscribe button. Number 56. The W800 is a modern classic paying homage to Kawasaki's 1960s W series. Its most distinctive feature is the bevel gear cam drive, a rare and complex mechanism that uses a series of spinning gears rather than chains or belts to operate the valves, creating a distinctive mechanical sound. Number 57. The Vulcan S Cruiser features an adjustable ergo fit system for rider comfort, with 18 different configurations to accommodate riders from 5 feet to 6'4". The foot pegs, handlebars, and seat can all be repositioned to create a custom fit typically only available through expensive aftermarket modifications. Number 58. The Ninja 400, introduced in 2018, demonstrates Kawasaki's approach to entry-level bikes. Rather than using outdated technology for beginners, it features a completely modern design with a trellis frame, advanced suspension, and sophisticated fuel injection system typically found only on premium models. Number 59. The Ninja ZX25R, sold in Asian markets, features a 250cc 4-cylinder engine that revs to an incredible 18,000 RPM, higher than many Formula 1 race cars. This engineering marvel proves Kawasaki's commitment to advanced technology regardless of engine displacement or price point. Number 60. Kawasaki's Z125 Pro Mini motorcycle is a favorite for urban stunt riding despite its tiny engine. Professional stunt riders choose it for its surprisingly robust frame, overbuilt clutch, and exceptional balance, proving that Kawasaki's engineering philosophy extends even to their smallest models. This versatility extends far beyond motorcycles. Beyond two wheels. Number 61. Kawasaki's jet ski, introduced in 1973, became a generic term for personal watercraft, joining Kleenex and Band-Aid as brand names that transcended their products. Invented by banker and motorcycle enthusiast Clayton Jacobson II, the first stand-up watercraft was licensed to Kawasaki, creating an entirely new recreational category. Number 62. Kawasaki's Brute Force series are their flagship ATVs, featuring technology directly transferred from their motorcycles. The top-of-the-line 750 uses a modified Ninja engine, fuel injection system adapted from the Versas, and suspension components based on motocross bike designs. Number 63. The Kawasaki Mule utility vehicle was one of the first side-by-sides ever produced, helping create what is now a multi-billion-dollar industry segment. Originally designed for agricultural use, its name came from its intended purpose as a modern replacement for farm work animals. Number 64. The Teryx high-performance side-by-side for recreation and racing uses a V-twin engine derived directly from Kawasaki's Vulcan cruiser motorcycles. Engineers reinforced the engine cases, modified the cooling system, and reprogrammed the fuel injection to withstand the extreme dust, impacts, and sustained high RPM operation of off-road use. Number 65. Kawasaki's Ultra 310LX jet ski is the most powerful production personal watercraft, generating 310 horsepower, more than many sports cars. Its supercharged engine is so powerful that it can pull 8 adult water skiers simultaneously or propel the craft to over 70 miles per hour. Number 66. Kawasaki's motorcycles are assembled in Japan, Thailand, Indonesia, the United States, and India. Their first US motorcycle plant opened in Lincoln, Nebraska in 1974, making Kawasaki the first Japanese motorcycle manufacturer to establish American production facilities. Number 67. Kawasaki builds more than just recreational vehicles. They also produce trains, ships, aerospace equipment, industrial robots, and energy systems. Their dual expertise in both transportation and industrial equipment allows technology transfer that competitors can't match, especially in material science and manufacturing processes. Number 68. Beyond motorcycles and jet skis, Kawasaki Heavy Industries builds some of the world's most sophisticated nuclear technology, including critical components for nuclear power plants and special containment vessels that handle radioactive materials. This expertise stems from their shipbuilding heritage, where similar pressure vessel engineering is required. Number 69. The same company building Ninja motorcycles is Japan's largest industrial robot manufacturer. Kawasaki produces automation systems used by many of their competitors. This robotics expertise benefits motorcycle production, with their factories using their own robots for superior quality control. Number 70. Kawasaki builds some of the world's fastest trains, including Japan's famous Shinkansen bullet trains that operate at nearly 200 miles per hour. The company's experience with high-speed aerodynamics and lightweight structural engineering directly influences their motorcycle development, especially in reducing drag and vibration. This emphasis on enjoyment reflects Kawasaki's core philosophy. All these diverse products share a common DNA defined by the company's distinctive culture and values: identity, community, and future. Number 71. Kawasaki's Rivermark logo, a stylized version of the Japanese character for river, dates back to the founding of the shipyard. Originally used as a manufacturer's stamp on ship components, this distinctive emblem was reserved for Kawasaki's most prestigious projects before being applied to flagship models like the Ninja H2. Number 72. Kawasaki's Good Times slogan isn't just marketing, it's an official corporate philosophy that influences engineering decisions. When designers proposed weight-saving measures that would have made the Ninja ZX-14 more competitive but less comfortable, executives rejected the changes as contrary to the Good Times rider experience priority. Number 73. Kawasaki's Rideology philosophy centers on the connection between rider and machine, emphasizing that engineering should enhance rather than replace the riding experience. This principle guides their approach to electronics and automation, maintaining traditional motorcycle feel even as technology advances. Number 74. Kawasaki maintains the motorcycle industry's oldest continuous factory-supported owner community, the Riders of Kawasaki program, established in 1977. This community has grown to host the world's largest single-brand motorcycle gathering, with over 10,000 green machines converging annually at Germany's Kawasaki Days. Number 75. Kawasaki's greatest marketing challenge has been its own success. Market research revealed their high-performance reputation actually scared away new riders, with the lowest female ownership percentage among major manufacturers, 15% versus industry average of 20 to 25%, leading to their shift toward more approachable models. Number 76. Kawasaki's quality control is legendary. Each Ninja ZX-10R engine undergoes a 40-minute dynamometer test at varying speeds and loads before installation. This practice, unusual in motorcycle manufacturing due to cost, was adapted from Kawasaki's aircraft engine division, where similar testing is mandatory. Number 77. Kawasaki's Manufacturing Quality Index ranks among the highest in the motorcycle industry. Their Akashi plant in Japan has a defect rate below 0.5%, significantly better than the industry average of 2%, thanks to quality systems adapted from their aerospace manufacturing processes. Number 78. Kawasaki maintains one of the industry's largest in-house racing departments, with over 150 employees dedicated solely to competition. Unlike competitors who outsource much of their racing operations, Kawasaki develops, builds, and maintains their race bikes entirely in-house to maximize knowledge transfer to production models. Number 79. Kawasaki's research and development budget for motorcycles exceeds $300 million annually, among the highest in the industry. This investment supports specialized facilities including a private wind tunnel, extreme climate testing chambers, and a proprietary electromagnetic dynamometer that can simulate an entire race circuit. Number 80. Kawasaki's paint application process for their signature lime green color involves 7 distinct layers, including a special UV-resistant clear coat developed specifically to prevent the distinctive hue from fading. This process takes 3 times longer than standard motorcycle painting, but results in their distinctive color retaining its brilliance years longer. Number 81. Unlike typical motorcycle origin stories that begin with bicycles or small engines, Kawasaki's began with a shipwreck. In 1876, a Japanese businessman named Shozo Kawasaki watched his cargo vessel and his entire fortune sink into treacherous waters. This disaster inspired his commitment to engineering excellence that would eventually revolutionize motorcycling. Number 82. Kawasaki's roots trace back to 1878, making it one of Japan's oldest industrial companies, predating Honda by 70 years and Yamaha by 77 years. While those companies were still decades from existence, Kawasaki was already building ships that helped transform Japan into an industrial powerhouse. Number 83. Think Kawasaki started as a motorcycle company? Think again. For the first 75 years of its existence, Kawasaki didn't build a single motorcycle. The company focused on shipbuilding before diversifying into railways, aircraft, and industrial equipment, only entering the motorcycle market in the 1950s. Number 84. Kawasaki's ZX-10RR is a homologation special for World Superbike racing, limited to just 500 units worldwide each year. Each engine is hand-assembled by a single technician who signs the casings, similar to the process used for Kawasaki's jet engines, to ensure unparalleled precision in critical tolerance-dependent components. Number 85. The Kawasaki green paint formula is a closely guarded secret, with the exact composition known to fewer than 5 employees worldwide. The distinctive lime green color is protected by multiple patents covering both its composition and application process, making it one of the most legally protected colors in the automotive world. Number 86. Kawasaki invests heavily in materials science, employing over 300 research engineers focused solely on developing new alloys and composites. The H2's impeller spins at speeds exceeding 300,000 RPM, requiring the development of a proprietary aluminum alloy with titanium and ceramic reinforcement to prevent disintegration. Number 87. Kawasaki engineers must pass one of the industry's most demanding certification programs, requiring mastery of disciplines from thermodynamics to electrical engineering. New hires typically spend 3 years in training before being allowed to contribute to actual production designs, reflecting the company's uncompromising standards. Number 88. Kawasaki's motorcycle test track in Hyogo Prefecture, Japan, includes replicas of famous racing corners from circuits worldwide. Engineers can test handling on reproductions of challenging turns from Laguna Seca's Corkscrew to Mugello's San Donato without leaving Japan, ensuring consistent performance across global race venues. Number 89. Kawasaki motorcycles undergo some of the industry's most extreme durability testing, including a continuous bouncing test where bikes are run at full throttle over hydraulic plates that violently bounce the wheels for 24 hours straight, equivalent to riding full speed over potholes for an entire day without stopping. Number 90. Kawasaki's motorcycles are sold in over 150 countries through more than 3,500 independent dealers, creating one of the motorcycle industry's most extensive global distribution networks, a far-reaching evolution from the company's origins as a local Japanese shipyard. Number 91. Kawasaki's motorcycle engines are manufactured to tolerances as precise as 0.0001 inches, approximately 1/25 the width of a human hair, requiring specialty manufacturing equipment developed by Kawasaki's own industrial robotics division to maintain this extraordinary precision across mass production. Number 92. Despite engineering excellence, Kawasaki faces significant environmental challenges. Their traditional sport motorcycles produce higher emissions than many competitors, creating difficulty meeting stringent Euro 5 emission standards and forcing the discontinuation of several popular models in Europe, including the iconic Ninja ZX-10R for a period. Number 93. Kawasaki's Good Times magazine has been published for decades, predating the internet as a way to connect owners. This evolved into the Good Times demo tours that let riders test new models and the Good Times owner events that build community, all extensions of the company's founding philosophy. Number 94. Kawasaki has the youngest average owner age among major motorcycle manufacturers, with 60% of buyers under 35, significantly younger than the industry average. This youthful demographic has driven Kawasaki's early adoption of digital integration features compared to competitors with older customer bases. Number 95. The GPZ 900R didn't just revolutionize motorcycle performance, it revolutionized motorcycle culture by starring as Tom Cruise's ride in the 1986 blockbuster Top Gun. This product placement was pure happenstance, but cemented Kawasaki's performance image in popular culture for decades. Number 96. Kawasaki invests approximately $50 million annually in racing programs worldwide, with internal studies showing that each racing victory generates an average 12% increase in dealer showroom traffic the following month, one of the most direct connections between racing success and sales in the industry. Number 97. Unlike competitors' strict 4-year update cycles, Kawasaki uses a performance-triggered development system. Models are only updated when engineers can achieve at least 7% performance improvement, explaining why some models change frequently while others remain unchanged for years. Number 98. Kawasaki has announced that all new models will be available in either electric or hybrid form by 2035, requiring a fundamental reinvention of the company's engineering approach. This represents the most significant technical shift since the company's transition from aircraft to motorcycles after World War II. Number 99. While other manufacturers are simply replacing gas engines with batteries, Kawasaki is developing something far more revolutionary, working hybrid motorcycle prototypes that combine traditional engines with electric motors, manual transmissions, and clutches, enhancing performance with electric torque. Number 100. Kawasaki's hybrid motorcycle prototype represents the most radical drivetrain revolution since the internal combustion engine. Unlike automotive hybrids focused solely on efficiency, Kawasaki's system aims to enhance performance with electric torque filling that provides instant acceleration at any speed while maintaining the sound and feel riders enjoy. Number 101. Despite embracing future technology, Kawasaki maintains the longest running motorcycle model names in the industry. The Z designation has passed 50 years of continuous production, while the Ninja name is approaching 40 years, creating living connections between Kawasaki's revolutionary past and technological future spanning 3 centuries of engineering excellence. From shipwrecks to superchargers, from fighter planes to superbikes, the legacy of Kawasaki continues to evolve while staying true to its founding principles of innovation, performance, and the pursuit of good times. But tell us, did we miss anything? Let's know in the comments down below. Thanks for watching, and I will see you there.